Hi. Here we go. Okay. So, the first question's about the past. So I'll start with Blue.
Okay.
How did your parents feel about you moving to LA?
I had a mixed bag. My mom's always been very supportive. My dad was very skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just assumed I'd come back after a little while. So we didn't communicate very well about that move at the time, and it wasn't until a lot later that he saw that I was earning some money that he was okay with it.
Was it a tough choice for you, or was it something you just knew you were going to do?
Well, I didn't know anything about there was no band at that time. There was none of the music. I was moving out because my buddy, Pat Finn, basically said you should move out here. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. And I had just finished art school, and I didn't really have a plan, and I didn't want to stay in Baltimore where I'd gone to school. So I was like, yeah, I'll go out there. We'll have, it'll be fun. And at the time, I barely knew Pat Wilson. I didn't know any of the other guys at all yet. And through Pat Finn, I met everybody. And they didn't become Weezer for another like 8 months after I moved out there.
So it was 91?
Yeah.
Are you still in touch with Pat Finn?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
he still in LA?
No, he's in Portland, Oregon.
Portland.
I'm actually going to see him.
Is he still do
tomorrow.
Organic Mechanic?
Well, they don't call it that anymore. He's going to call it, this is great, he's going to call it The Gaze, but it's spelled G-A-Z-E.
That's awesome.
And it's basically him and his original drummer, Talbot, who's a producer guy. And they don't really have any other band members right now, so they're just recording an album, and I don't know if they're going to actually have a band or not. It's just going to be, they're making an album.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good music.
So, what were your first impressions of Matt and Rivers?
My earliest impression of Matt was really negative because he, at the time, lived in Northern California, and he had come down for like a visit for a couple of days, and he stayed at our apartment, and I had an earlier impression of him. This is hilarious. The contrast is hilarious. Okay, my first impression of him was I'd come out to visit LA in January of 90, I think, or January 91 or 90, I can't remember which. I know, January 91, and him and Pat and Rivers had just moved in together in this place in LA, and Matt was
that Amherst?
No, this is before Amherst. It was this other place, and Matt was in this super depressed phase. So all he did is he wore black turtlenecks, and he had these little round glasses, which I guess he still kind of has, and his hair is kind of like up, kind of like a little more like new wave, and he would sit. They didn't have any furniture at this apartment because they couldn't afford it. It was a nice apartment, but they couldn't afford anything. They had no refrigerator, no stove. So he'd sit on lawn furniture, like those fold-out, soft, bendy chairs, and watch Woody Allen films on his little TV. And there was nothing else in the whole living room. And I just remember going in and out with the two Pats and screwing around, and every time it was just Matt like this. Watching. I was like, "What's up with that?" And he was like, "Well, And then years later, when he came to our apartment on Stoner from Northern California, he was completely plastered, and it was 3 in the morning, and he kept come barging into our bedroom and waking us up and tripping over things and knocking things over, and it was just like, what's wrong with this guy? And it wasn't until later that I actually got to know him and understood that he was cool, but he just he expressed himself very strangely back then. Who's the other person?
Rivers.
My first impression of him was that previous apartment for him and Matt, and he was just moving in when I was visiting there, and he was literally just moving into that place from somewhere else. His whole thing with his old kind of metal bands had just kind of fallen apart at that point, so he was kind of reorganizing his life, and he had the long hair, no glasses, and he was just he was literally boxes were coming in. He was carrying boxes in and setting them up in the bedroom. And I remember, maybe the next day, he was playing some of his demos, and at the time, his demos were so early on, he'd only written a few on his own that were songs, and he had a song called Christmas in L.A., which he wrote for the Christmas of 1990, because he was alone and lonely in L.A., and there's nothing going on. And then he had this song called The Bushman, which was based on this sample of some drum beat. I can't remember what it was, but it was just this super aggressive, It was a really cool song, actually, and I remember those are the songs he played. he didn't really have anything even remotely like Weezer at all back then. It was
Really?
it was either like kind of like almost funky kind of angry stuff, or jokey songs. Like those are the two things he was doing at the time.
Yeah. Out of all that early Weezer 60 Wrong Sausages material, songs like I Can't Forget the Way and Spider Bitch and Mega Man, The Biggest Animal, which one, when they were first starting out, were you really into? What was your favorite?
Well, the earliest stuff was actually leftover stuff from Pat Wilson and Rivers' band called Fuzz, and that was like The Biggest Animal, and there was like 5 or 6 songs, and I thought those were amazing. I mean, they were so, it was like kind of like, it was almost in like the Jane's Addiction kind of territory, but like, and that was cool back then. I mean, those guys were rad, and so I was really impressed with that. But obviously, that had nothing to do with, you know, how things ended up being. But it was, I dug that stuff, and I always dug. And Pat's song Mega Man, I've always loved. He originally did an instrumental of it at our apartment on Stoner. He did it on a 4-track, and I remember him emerging from a bedroom, one of our 2 bedrooms, like with this big smile on his face. He's like, "You gotta check this out." And of course, it was just like this distorted drum beat from a HR-16 drum machine, and like a little quick bass line, and this like 2 guitar parts that had these crazy like rotary flange effects on them, and it was like the coolest song ever. And we were all like, "Yeah!" and he's like, "What's it called?" And he's like, "Mega Man." But there was no lyrics at that time. And later, 60 Wrong Sausages did their demo. He did a version with lyrics, which was also good. But I remember being super stoked on that. But all the Rivers songs, Biggest Animal, I can't remember the name, like Burn Your Bridges one, I Will Not Cross Over. They're just huge.
Are they in the vein of The Answer Man?
Yeah. They're all like, they're just. I don't even think The Answer Man's the best song. It's just the one that's the most like in your face aggressive. But they're all cool.
Was this before they got into Nirvana, or was this?
That was. Those songs existed before. Well, I think Rivers was aware of Nirvana because he got into what do you call Sliver, and that was actually before I was even aware of what Sliver was, because I remember being in college in like 89, 90, 91, and we were like, oh, Mudhoney, like all these Sub Pop bands, but Nirvana was just another Sub Pop band, like Tad, like we were more concerned with Tad and Mudhoney than Nirvana, because who the hell knew what Nirvana was, you know? But obviously when Nevermind came out, it was like, oh shit, everybody stood up and took notice. It was like, wait a minute, like now we see what's going on. But up until that point, it was more like, I don't know I don't know if anything Nirvana influenced his songs, those songs. Yeah. It might have, but I don't hear it in there. I hear more of like him trying to retain that kind of like, almost like, because back then it was like, if it wasn't Jane's Addiction or the Chili Peppers, it was nothing. I mean, it was like, those were such huge forces out there, you know? And I think everybody kind of had that like, yeah, man, we can kind of be funky. We can kind of have those kind of beats. And I think there was some of that influence in there. At least I'm guessing, because I don't think Rivers thought he could sing back then. Like, he hadn't found his like, that great voice he has. He was kind of like straining it more.
It's that airy voice.
Like he was straining it more, and so it was more suited to like these kind of aggressive metal-y kind of songs, you know. So, and I guess Sliver would fit right in, except for the songwriting must have influenced him more in a pop direction. I would think. Was
Nirvana before Pixies for you guys?
I always assumed that Pixies was before Nirvana. But it was about simultaneous. Like it was kind of like this realization that like, wait a minute, this is the sound. Like these guys have it right, you know. And that was like, I just remember when they were like, him and Pat were first sitting down and trying to come up with 50 songs. It was like late '91. I remember they were like trying to do like, like, man, let's try to do something like Debaser. Let's try to do something like that. Like, can we do that kind of thing?
That would be a sick one to cover.
Yeah. Pat was talking about it. He was talking about he had a list of Pixies songs, and it was just a matter of like, can we get it together and do it?
It's a tough one. The drums are.
Yeah. There's a lot of tough. Yeah, and that's the thing. If Pat's singing and playing guitar, who's playing drums? Rivers is a good drummer, but there's certain songs that are tough.
Yeah.
And tough to get it right. So there's always like they're always strategizing. Pat's thinking about changing up his cover now.
Really?
And he's got some cool ideas.
What do you have a memory that is just it's your favorite, your fondest memory from before the band was signed? Sticks out more than anything else.
Probably our goofy ass 3-show tour we did in my truck with a trailer that had no top, so we had to have a tarp over the gear. It was like a U-Haul trailer. Like U-Haul ran out of the ones with the top, you know. And we went up to San Jose and Eureka and Guerneville and did that outdoor party. I mean, it was real ghetto.
Was that where you filmed Jonas in the VCD?
Yeah. We filmed that whole show, but that was the only one that I used for that.
That stuff's got to get out there.
It's. I think that was the most, because there's this incredible sense of like, you know, camaraderie and no idea what the hell we were doing. It was just total by the seat of your pants. It was really funny, and I had to probably single that out as like the fun. And also, I remember on the ride back down in my car, like we were like an hour from LA that night, coming back from wherever, San Francisco, and I remember Rivers pulling out a cassette and saying, you know, what do you guys think of this? And it was no one else's demo, and he had never played it for anybody before, and it was like, this is a different direction.
I've got a question right here, but before that, just you know, some of the names that you said Weezer was considering was stuff like the Big Jones and this Niblet. Was there one that you thought was the best, like the name to go with?
Not really. I mean, I thought they were all kind of funny, but there's like Meathead and all these funny names. I remember Pat saying this Niblet for the first time and me going, okay, that's clever, but it's kind of bizarre. And there was something like the Big Leafy Green something or other machine. Like there's all these funny names that it's kind of like Jason was the influence on those because he always was into that like down home country
like Grand Groove Junction.
Yeah, the Brotherhood Groove Junction.
The first song that Weezer recorded and then played live was "I Can't Forget the Way." Is that like? Do you think that stands out among the early material? Do you think that's ever something the band would consider?
I always thought that was a cool song. A lot of their early songs I thought were really cool.
Is that kind of a soft one or a rockin' one?
It was pretty rockin'. Actually, it was really rocking. That one and like Coal Machine and a couple others back then, they were like rockin' tunes. I mean, they were like aggressive. I call them like a bridge between that kind of fuzz material, you know, like the Answer Man kind of material, and like what we call like, you know, early Weezer, like the Jonases and the Unknowns and stuff like that, because it was like, it was definitely pop and melodic, but it was pretty heavy, and they'd record it in these ways where they'd intentionally like distort the trim on the 8-track so you get more distortion and stuff. So I would hope people would hear that someday. It's a cool song.
What do you think's better, Rivers' version of "Don't Worry Baby" or Rivers' version of "Surfer Girl"?
I don't know how to rate them. I like them both. Probably "Don't Worry Baby" just because I like that song a little bit more. Well, it's been built. Yeah, it's cool.
What was it like at the Amherst house when the band, like everything was official and they were signed?
Dude, it was chaos. People were throwing couches out of windows and stuff.
Did you have everyone over that you knew?
I just remember this insane party. It was just goofy. Our Todd, or A&R guy, came over and it was like this celebration. It's just nuts. And that paled in comparison to the going away party when they actually went the night before we went to New York.
Destroyed the toilet.
All that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it was jubilant, man. People were just like freaking out.
How were you allowed to fly out to New York? What did Geffen pay for you?
Yeah, I was sort of hired on, you know, as part of the record budget at that point. The band didn't have any business, you know, they hadn't even set up a business agreement, so it's not like they could even hire me officially. So it was like a Geffen thing. And I think it was like, we need Karl. And they said, you know, we can fit that in the budget. And so
that's awesome.
Just went like that.
Okay, so Pinkerton. Were you kind of upset when you saw Songs from the Black Hole changing into Pinkerton? Or were you
well, it wasn't so much upset. It was like taking me off guard because I would be like out of the picture for 3-4 months at a time. And then to come back and all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's all these new songs being rehearsed. I'm sure it was taking the other guys off guard too, but you know, they had to play them, so they didn't, you know, what are you going to do? It was like, okay, here's the songs. In a sense, that was kind of a relief because I was always skeptical that it could be pulled off. Today I know they could pull it off. Like they have like the stagecraft, they have the clout to say, can we get in 3 people to do this? Can we get 2 of these things to happen? Can we get one of this to happen? Like there's like that. There's a much more professional. At the time, it was like, here's our amps, here's our guitars, and we go on the stage at CBGB's. Like, how are you going to pull off what you want to do here? And you got to have guest vocalists. Matt was talking about these like special stage props where he'd go up and this light would shine down and like like all this crazy shit would happen. And I was like, it's rad, but I just had this sense in my gut that like this isn't going to work, not today anyway. And so, but I never said anything. I was just like, it's cool and I love the music, but I wonder how they're going to do that. Is this really going to go down? And so when it did change, my only surprise was what it changed into. I was like, oh, where did this come from? This whole Japanese thing. And then he showed me the letter and all that stuff that inspired Across the Sea, and how kind of things everything started changing while he was going to Harvard that semester. And and a lot of that stuff had to do with people he met at Harvard, people his leg. Like The Good Life was all about literally like walking around Harvard Square in the snow with a cane, with a beard, and nobody knew him or anything. And I always thought, well, if you shaved your beard, they would have recognized you. But that was his personal.
I think he wanted it. That's where the inspiration's coming from.
It was almost like, you know what? I'm in enough pain right now. Let's just make it worse. Now really write some songs.
That's the Weezer way.
Yeah, exactly.
When you listen to Super Friend, what version do you consider definitive? Is it the one that we got on Alone?
I can't remember what versions there are.
The one on Alone is about 3 minutes, 30 seconds, kind of a soft intro and outro.
Right. He may have done, and that may be one of the things where he edited it to make it the way he wanted it to be.
Did he do that with Dude, We're Finally Landing too?
Maybe.
Because there's some clipping in there.
Yeah, there were some things where he's like, well, I've always liked this, but I've always hated this problem, and I want to fix it. So he said, well, since I'm putting it out, take it to the lab and make it fixed. Now, I don't remember offhand, which is embarrassing, the differences in Super Friend, but I may have to take a pass on that question because I don't really remember offhand what's the differences. When I fell in love with the song was the first time I heard it, and it was a demo he had made, I'm assuming in Connecticut that winter in 94, 95, or 95 or whatever that was. And I think that was, for a while, that was the only version I knew about. So, and then there was I think there was like a reprise or something he did or something like that.
Is that song still your favorite, or is it just the nostalgia keeps it your favorite?
It's in my favorites. I've always thought that was just a really neat song.
Do you have a recorded version of? Because you said that one time the band did it with Rachel on a sound check.
Yeah, there's no recording of that, and it's sad because we had so many AV failures in the early days. Like my video camera crapped out somewhere in '94, and we didn't get another one until Todd, the A&R guy, lent me his. So for a while there was a gap of no videotape. But then I remember our bus driver had taken some video. You ever see the footage from like Tom's River, New Jersey? It's like an outdoor festival kind of thing. It's '94.
Yeah.
That was from the bus driver's footage. Nobody ever knew that existed until he's like, "You want to copy my tape?" And I'm like, "Yeah!" And that was like considered lost forever.
That's killer.
But anyway, what was I saying?
It was all the AV failures.
Oh yeah. And then my camera. I had so many camera problems that there's almost no photos from back then. It's just really a shame. Like I went through like 4 cameras that kept breaking on me. But anyway, when they did those sound checks, I don't think anything got recorded, audio or video of them. It's a shame.
So, hypothetically speaking, if Rivers did get the Homie album released, do you think that would have been the end of Weezer?
No, I don't think so. I think he considered it a pet project.
Really?
Yeah, like he was excited about it, but it wasn't like, this is my new direction, my new life.
So he wasn't determined. Well, was he determined to get it released, or was it just whatever happens, happens?
Well, I think if he was determined to get it released, it would have been released. In my opinion.
Can you remember what it was like when you guys recorded American Girls? Because hadn't Matt already left the band?
No, he hadn't left yet. Then
Okay.
I wasn't there for that session, and I don't even remember where it was. But
someplace in Boston.
it had happened, and I found out about it after the fact. And so, by the time I found out about it, there was all this talk like, we think Matt's leaving, and then back then, since there was no like day-to-day updating and no website that really knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I put out a Weezine that talked about Matt leaving, it was also announcing this homie thing and this American, and it was like, it seemed like confusing, like, well, how is it that he's part of that if he's gone? But well, that's because it happened 4 months earlier. You know? Like I think it was the last thing they kind of collaborated on, because they both happened to be in New York City. I think they did it in New York for some reason.
Really?
'Cause I think Rivers had been in Connecticut or Harvard or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly now, but
Uh-huh.
basically just a lot of people were invited down to help out, the guys from Cake and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a good time.
Do you have a favorite homie song?
I really like the Lover in the Snow. I think I got a new appreciation for it when I was cutting the video together. But I like them all though. They're all cool.
At that time, because after that they went back to record, what direction did you see the third album taking at that time?
I didn't have anything to go on.
Really?
Like all the demos that had happened after, like once they got back together that summer, I didn't hear any of that stuff. They didn't even send it to the manager. Like nobody knew what they were doing in there. And I found out all of that stuff I found out about later after the fact, like in 2000, once we were back together, and Rivers was starting to show me his stacks of demos and lists of stuff, and I was like, whoa, there's all kinds of stuff here. But at the time, all I ever knew about was like I talked on the phone with Pat Wilson a few times, and he'd tell me a little bit about what was going on. And he's like, yeah, man, it's pretty heavy. There's a couple cool songs. I don't know. I'm not into it too much. It's kind of weird, and it. But it was like these flashes of brilliance. It was like, oh man, this song is great. And then like next week, oh yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Why?
Is that what happened with Prettiest Girl?
I don't know what happened. I think Rivers never felt that he finished it. And he thought it was missing a part, which I guess technically it is. And so he shelved it just because he didn't feel it was done. And that happens to a lot of songs that people think are great. Like, come on, dude, finish it, but he didn't.
Yeah. Smile. Okay, so my favorite is Make Believe, and yeah, I get some heat for that.
That's cool. No, that's cool. There's some good shit on that record.
What's the best song to not make Believe, in your opinion? Because there's all those Fallen Soldiers.
Oh, right.
They've gotten to the point where it's on par with Homie, with the fans.
Yeah, some of those I personally don't like that much because I didn't feel they're given the right treatment. Like there were songs that I really liked, and then by the time they were getting almost finished with it, I thought something's not right to me, which is kind of what happened to some of the Green Album stuff. Like it felt like it got like too stiff or whatever by the time we finished it, and like Love Is the Answer early on was awesome. Now maybe there's that version waiting to be picked up and finished up. I don't know. But the one that they were close to finishing, personally, I was like, this isn't as epic as I remember it being. Like something got like pulled back out of it. Like it like went to the brink and came back.
Was it some dynamic or something?
Yeah, there's some feel about it. So now I'm not saying that's how anybody else might hear it or see it.
Yeah.
It's just me. Like, you emotionally get into something when you hear it, and then when you start hearing things change, you start going, well, I don't know if I like that.
Do you feel that often because Weezer songs, they're just reworked a ton?
Yeah, it's happened a bunch over the time. It's actually better for me to not hear stuff until it's almost ready, because then I have a better opinion about it, a better objective opinion.
Is there anything that you thought should have been on Make Believe that wasn't, or for the most part, do you think the album is exactly the way it should have been?
Some songs just didn't turn out the way I wish they had. Like early on, My Best Friend was really cool, and I can't explain why. And that also goes for the one, whatchamacallit, Pardon Me.
Pardon Me?
Yeah. And even Drugs. I mean, like back when they were doing acoustically, I thought that was a cool song. It never occurred to me it might be, seen as like too repetitive or whatever you want to call it. It didn't feel that way to me back then. So, and as far as ones that didn't make it, like my major feeling about that is basically if Love Is the Answer was on there, but the way I remember hearing it originally, and I really liked Our Last Chance. Those two songs in particular I thought were really cool. The other ones there's a couple that actually they went too far in a like.
Just quirky.
It just like this one almost sounds like disco. This one almost sounds like exactly like the Beatles. Like there was just things that
I remember saying you said one of them was Paperback Writer.
It almost was, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was like I was like, this isn't. I was glad that wasn't on there because people would have said like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, even though it was cool, but it was like, what the hell? Why did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's the past.
Okay.
This is now.
Mm-hmm.
What
this
era?
Is now.
Now.
This is now.
What era of Weezer holds the fondest memories for you?
I don't know. I get nostalgic about everything, even stuff that I hated at the time.
That's the same.
I remember feeling oddly nostalgic for like 2000, like a couple years ago, and at the time it felt like everything's different and weird and like wow, it's not like it used to be. Everything's all like crazy and like, but looking back, like those were some fun times, like all the times with Mikey and stuff. There's some pretty hilarious stuff went down, and that wasn't that long ago. I mean, I always have a soft spot for the early days before they were signed. I mean, that was a magic time that I just wish had been.
It's got that innocence.
Yeah. I mean, there was stuff that I would never. It's like anything. It's like you look back on like, oh man, I sure we need to go back to when I was whatever age. But then you think, oh wait a minute though, I really don't want to do that again, and I don't want that to happen again. So it's like that. It's like that for all the eras. I don't know. I wouldn't want to. I know where the most confusion and pain was, and but there's only a few times where it felt like that. Most of the time it was pretty rad.
When did you think it was just like things are falling apart?
I remember somewhere in the Pinkerton tour there was kind of like a weird meltdown. It was related to when you saw that AP article, that old AP article where
they kind of
talk
about Rivers.
Yeah. That was kind of a dark period.
Yeah.
It was a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Right around the Good Life video shoot, that whole like stretch of time, like spring '97, basically was rough.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a period like right in the middle of the Green Album stuff that was pretty dark, and it wasn't necessarily the Mikey thing. It was more like it was really hard to communicate with Rivers, like extra hard, like to a point where nobody really knew where they stood. There was no sense of like group camaraderie. Like it was just like this kind of like strange feeling. I remember I didn't dig that either. Those two I'd probably single out as like nadirs.
Yeah. Is there? I know you weren't in with Red, but is there a producer that you just felt Weezer worked best with? So I guess Rick Rubin themselves or Rick Ocasek.
Damn, it's tough. Rick Ocasek was perfect for what they did when they used him, and I think Rick Rubin was initially perfect.
Kind of saved the band, but then
he was perfect for Rivers.
Yeah.
Rivers needed somebody to be a guidepost, so that was good.
Did you think his involvement ever got too much, or
no? I think it was all positive in that sense. In a sense, I think they work best alone if they're confident about what they're doing. But now we're going into this new thing with Jackknife, and they're all stoked on him now, because it was so easy to work with him. I think they hadn't had a producer where it was just like, he knows what he's doing musically, and he's easy to work with. Like Rick is so easy to work with, but it's all like this intuitive kind of thing. Rick Ocasek is technically like right on the ball. He knows exactly how to make a record, and he's funny, but you don't get a sense of like he is friendly and he's a really sweet guy, but you don't get a sense of like you're with them. It's kind of like, we come together and now I'm going to go back to my hotel and you guys can go back to your hotel. And like it didn't, I don't know. I'm just speaking from my own experience, but they may have never found the right combination. I think in the Red Album, when they were working kind of alone, I mean, Rick was sort of in the background, not like, in touch, but not part of it. That might have been their best because it really, when I was there for a couple weeks, it felt super creative, super, like, everything was flowing right, really optimistic, really positive. Like, they were in charge of their shift, they know exactly what they're doing. Like, that felt like the most productive I'd seen them.
You think that's carrying on to album 7?
Well, they're going to be working with Jackknife, but
Uh-huh.
it's not too different because Jackknife's kind of on the same wavelength as them.
Uh-huh.
So, and they all want to work quickly. They don't want to bog down. So it could be really cool.
I know that you can't really speak about much, and nothing is really solidified for album 7 yet. But are they looking at all new material, or is there anything that didn't make Red they want to go back to?
I've heard talk of both.
I
I mean, there's talk of everybody bringing in new songs, but there's also talk of there's all these great songs that we never finished, so we should work on.
Pie.
I'll be putting in my suggestions if they ask for them.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too. You set out for album 6 for the most part, and do you think you'd do that for album 7?
Well, I'm going to be there for the beginning of it because it's starting in November, and I'll be in town for that. And they don't know if they're going to finish it in this first session, which is going to go into probably around New Year's or maybe February or something like that. And I won't be there for that part of it. Like, I'm going to be back east for the holidays. So it might actually be kind of cool because I actually don't think I should be there for the whole thing anymore. Unless something changes, it felt like maybe I should have been there a little more on the 6th one because I was only there for like maybe 3 weeks total out of the whole thing. And that was the whole thing was like months and months and months. But I don't think I should be there for the majority of the time. I don't think it's right. Not because my opinion isn't valued, not because it's a bummer. It's just there's a sense when I'm there that okay, you're being documented, and it's almost like sometimes when nobody's paying attention is when all the inspiration happens. That's what I've seen.
Would you ever look at another VCD?
Oh yeah. It's not been talked about officially, but I mean, there's certainly enough boatloads of material that could go on it, both since then and before the old days. There's tons more stuff.
All right. Would you be interested in a big Weezer box set? Nice booklet.
There's certainly the material and the quality to do it if everybody agreed to it and it was all cool. I mean, my vote is yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it.
Rivers is working on his kind of recollection of Weezer's formation. Have you ever considered making your own kind of biography of the band?
I've thought about it a little, and it would be not so much like a detailed written thing the way his is, but more like a collection of memories, not necessarily just for me either, and a lot, like as much visual imagery as possible, as opposed to the almost like meticulous like diary and inner thoughts kind of thing that Rivers is writing. It would be more like, stories and anecdotes and pictures and, like a collection like that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
What do you consider Carlophone's crowning achievement?
There is none yet. But I like my last album. I like the one with the green cover.
It's your favorite?
Yeah, definitely. The first one's no good compared to that one, in my opinion. There's a couple of good songs in the first one, I think, kind of, but the second one, I was way happier with the second one. And I just hope I can make something better for the third one.
Have you started on that at all?
A little bit.
Just
a little bit. I haven't had time. I literally haven't had time. I got tons and tons of material and no time to organize anything and write stuff. But lots of ideas, like notebooks full of ideas.
Do you ever write alternative music, or are you just looking at sampling and hip hop?
Well, the funny thing is that I think all my influence comes from alternative music and being around Weezer and stuff. So I think if you think about my songs in terms of structure, they're kind of like pop songs because that's the way they flow. Like it's not like, oh, let's just have a 40-minute trance out. Like I'm not into that. Like I want parts. Like song parts. A, B. Here's the bridge. Back to A. Here, sort of the solo. You know what I mean? So I think that way, even though the sound I want is a more like, hip hop kind of, whatever you want to call it. Then
It really doesn't fit into a genre.
That's good.
It is good. It's unique. Have you and Rivers ever collaborated on anything?
The short answer is yes, but the long answer is not significantly.
Uh-huh.
There's a couple early things back in the old days that you may have known about in the recording history, but we've never sat down. So Rivers has mentioned, like, we should we should do something sometime. Like that's come up on occasion, and it's the dynamic of how to do that is never been really broached as a subject. But I have a hard enough time collaborating with anybody, really, to be honest. Like I'm such a, I just go into my zone, and then like when I sent stuff to Pat for him to do that one B-side of mine, I don't know if you know about that one, that If You Listen song. He did the guitar, and he reworked that song significantly, and he's like, please send me more stuff. I love doing that. And a lot of people like flip that 45 over and play that song instead because they think it's better, and I'm like, okay, like maybe that's what I should be doing.
Is that on your website, that 45?
I can't remember. I think it's on the MySpace, but I mean the 45 is for sale, yeah. But
really?
Yeah, I would have given you one if I had any here. But
no, dude, I'll pay for it. I'll go home and get it.
It's on the website. Yeah, it's because he was credited as Franklin Mint, but he did the B-side for that for the 45 he did a couple years ago. And
that's right.
So that was a collaboration, but it was kind of like I just sent him the files, and then he sent that back, and I'm like, cool, we're done. I don't know how it would work with Rivers.
Yeah.
It'd be fun though. It'd be fun to try.
Who do you think is the greatest songwriter of all time?
Jeez.
Maybe a few of them.
Oh, I don't know.
Who are you into most right now, then?
That's another hard question. I mean, there's some... Damn. That's tough. All-time songwriters. I mean, there's some, like, obvious names that I kind of can't ignore. And it's not necessarily like I love all their material, but, I mean, you can't discount Brian Wilson. You can't discount Burt Bacharach. You can't discount Lennon and McCartney. I mean, as far as, like, a pop songwriting, I mean, those three right there, you've covered a lot of your bases. As far as, like, who's going to really come close to those guys. Not too many. But then, there's the whole soul side of it. I mean, Curtis Mayfield. I mean, there's so many people that just, like, laid down incredible tracks. Like, just such good writing. I don't really count James Brown as a songwriter, even though he did, because he was more like a band leader that, encouraged a groove and then came up with bizarre scat lyrics over it. Like, an incredible performer, but I can't call those, like...
It's not like composition.
Yeah, it was more like, here's a new kind of rhythm that nobody's ever heard before. Like, which I count as very important, but that's not really the songwriting part of songwriting in that sense. You sound like at the piano going, this chord, no, this chord, it's not like that. So maybe those guys would be my names. And as for today, who I like right now, I like so many stupid things. Like I'm digging like that stupid song by MIA. What's her face? Paper Plane song.
Paper Plane.
Yeah, I'm digging that song. I can't help it. It's got the Clash song. It's got the Clash in it.
It is good.
But who am I into? Pat turned me on to The Bird and the Bee. I dig that record. I just bought Vampire Weekend, but I haven't listened to it yet, which is kind of sad. But I heard it was good. I like some of My Morning Jacket. I definitely like Band of Horses a lot. Still like the Shins, all that kind of business. But I'm always exploring the past. I mean, 90% of what I listen to is old.
Yeah.
At least 90%. I'm always like buying old records, checking old stuff out. The more obscure, the better.
Yeah.
Like literally. I mean, I'm just like, what's this? It's on ABC. I'm buying it.
When you do that, are you looking for new music to enjoy, but are you also looking for samples?
Both. Definitely both. The best record is one that's got some killer songs on it, but also some stuff that's like, I got to sample that.
Yeah.
Like it's a slam dunk if I hear that. I'm like, oh, I got to buy it. I don't care what it costs.
What are your favorite albums right now or all time?
Damn, dude, I don't know. What would I even say to that? Well, all time, I always have to count the Clash's albums. They always destroy me. I listened to them so many times when I was between 13 and 18, and I can't even count thousands of times, too many times. So they're just in my bloodstream. there's a lot of albums I love, but then I realize I love some songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as opposed to just playing it through. So I'm trying to think of records where I just play it through and it's all good. I think the Band of Horses did that with both their albums. I can play them both through and really dig it. Going back old, of course the Big DJ Shadow record. I listened to that a billion times. It's a great record, start to finish. It really has a sense of journey. You know, like it really feels like you're going somewhere with that record. Jeez. You know, I dug Jay-Z's interpretations of American Gangster because I thought he had really fallen off with the last record before that, and then I was like, this record's good. Like I was playing it all the way through. Another one I'm playing all the way through is the soundtrack to Metalocalypse, which is it's on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network, and it's about the death metal band, and they put out a soundtrack. But they also put it out on a picture disc LP, so it's all this like blood, guts on it and stuff. But I'm like, whoever's writing these songs knows what they're doing because these are like catchy. It's not just noise. Like I played it through and I'm like, I'm at the end of the record already. That was good. But it's a hilarious show. You got to watch it. You'll die laughing.
Do you prefer vinyl to the CD or?
Yeah, if whenever possible. The only problem is on the road when you buy vinyl, you can't listen to it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we have the record player on stage now, so I can pull that out.
Does it get damaged?
It's not, but it's trash, dude. It's trash. It's a daily repair session. But, yeah.
So I don't know. This might be kind of a hefty question, but if you had to pick a favorite song from like before Weezer and during Blue and Pink, the hiatus.
Oh man.
Green.
How come you guys decided to do this? Some people stick their fingers in them and blow them out.
Okay. Early on,
Finger in the girl.
I'll go through the albums first because that's easier.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Blue might be like Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Pinkerton might be like Falling for You. Hiatus. I don't know. I mean, all that homie stuff, like I said, I dig a lot of those songs. I'm not sure if I could really pick one out and say that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
But, with Green, I think, damn, probably like Smile or that other slow one near the end. What the hell's that one called?
Simple Paint, Glorious Day.
Yeah, Glorious Day is pretty cool. Maladroit, I go for Slob because I like that since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Make Believe. Maybe Damage in Your Heart. And the new one's tough because I like a lot of it. Maybe Dreamin',
Mm-hmm.
or The Greatest Man. It's tough to pick out stuff from like the billions of demos, but you know I like Super Friend. There's just like a handful of things that are like super cool. Maybe a great early song is that nobody's ever heard yet is what the hell is it called? I've Thrown It All Away. That's a super cool demo, early demo.
What's that one like? It's just soft.
Yeah, it's so cool. I don't know how to explain
Did
it.
Pat help write that? Because I was looking at the recording history the other day and it made it.
Oh, maybe. I can't remember anymore. Good question. So I don't know. It's tough. Without looking at lists, it's hard to pick things out.
Yeah.
But those are some answers for you.
All right, and then Waylon wanted me to ask, how much footage of the Sound City Cat do you have?
The Sound City what?
The Sound City Cat.
Oh, probably a total of like a minute or two, I would guess.
Okay, that was for Waylon.
That's a great cat.
Okay, in closing, is there anything that you would want to tell Weezer fans right now?
I thank them for their patience because often they expect a high level of information and they don't always get it. I'd ask them to trust that we know what we're doing, and to forgive things that they don't like, and know that the band is probably more so than ever, like excited to work, you know, like looking forward to the future optimistically. You know, like everybody wants to keep making music and keep making records and you know, just keep going, and that's an honest assessment of the vibe. You know, like day to day there may be confusion and like, oh, what, you know, oh, why did Brian say this? And, you know, like, God damn it, and like stupid little things. But like the overall vibe is like, let's keep making records and keep writing songs.
Awesome.
It's a really positive feeling right now.
Is there anything that you want to tell Carlophone fans?
I wish there were more of you, but thank you for being one if you are. And I will make a third CD, and I as soon as I have anything I can preview on MySpace, I'll put it up for you to listen to it.
All
and
right.
I'm still going. I'm a very persistent dude, so there may not be much evidence of it on the web right now, but I'm going to keep making more stuff.
All right. Final question. Are you looking for some saction?
Oh, that's why. Maybe it's just
I don't even know how
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, I am. I'll just say we're looking for section. Who isn't?
We're all looking for saction.
Who is not looking for section? You're an idiot if
It's
you're not
impossible to find, though.
looking. Yeah, you're an idiot if you're not looking for section.
smarter than Carl. Does he
Okay,
study
thank
more
you
at
so
home?
much.
You're welcome.
Maybe Carl wasn't the first to finish after all. Maybe he could get more out of his time in school. Now comes a decision.